Hello there, Pumpkin. Are you failing or passing the test that is going on with HEX, PulseChain, and Richard Heart right now? A lot of you are actually succeeding with me. We are passing the test. We know we have to hold for long. We are staying in either the liquidity pools or you are staked and you are letting the scenario play out. But there are a few crumpled slipper wearers who are failing the test. Do you see this candle on the right hand side of your screen? It is minus 20%. Yes, a very hunched back poopy head dumped 22 million HEX in one click because of one Richard Heart tweet, and he just capitulated, paid huge slippage, and now we've actually kind of retraced it. That's funny enough to see, but as it was happening, I got some messages, people losing their minds again. I'm here to calm you down and to tell you, I've been in markets 10 to 12 years. I've held unbelievably offside things. I know how the market goes, how the cycle goes. There are no guarantees. This is not financial advice. It can still go to zero. All I can tell you is what I am doing. That's all I can tell you. I am sitting on a squeaky chair. I got a straight back. If you're doing that, welcome, welcome. Take a seat over there, friends. So let's observe the actual tweet that set this off, and it actually has nothing to do with the eHEX chart itself. So this is HEX from Ethereum, otherwise known as eHEX. Okay, so little eHEX, you'll see it written out here. It's HEX from Ethereum. That's its little passport from Ethereum. So what was the Richard Heart tweet that set it off? You have here, if you want to zoom in, friends, you have a look here. So you have Ricardo himself saying, HEX on PulseChain has been quietly outperforming Pulse. Drama free. So I know this has nothing to do with eHEX or anything, but some poopy head interpreted this as bearish for eHEX, and of course they will capitulate down, but that's okay. They are failing the test. Let them fail the test. There's nothing me and you can do. Every day pushes on, and we're just going to wait until this period passes. You need to get out the weekends for us to go up. I don't like it. I don't like it. Just like hail. You go read the Bible, you might say, hey, God, did I really have to sacrifice my son and 3 lambs for you to stop throwing thunderbolts our way? That's just how it is. That's how the universe works, friends. So also, I'd like to let you know that there's another Richard Heart tweet to go through here, okay? Because a lot of people, they are failing the test. So if you are new here, welcome, welcome. Richard Heart is constantly, for his community, for the early Hexicans, middle and late Hexicans, and everyone in between, and PulseChain community, he basically always says, don't trade. He always says, who is the wealthiest in crypto? Founders and holders. And let me tell you something, there is no way on earth this guy is abandoning his original first coin. That's what I think. I mean, it could be wrong. You just never know these days. But I think he's not abandoning it. Instead, what he's doing is he's shining a light on other stuff, and people are interpreting him. If he shines a light on one part, they are then looking on the dark. They're saying, oh, you're putting the darkness on there. Well, no, not really. It doesn't mean anything except that he's just talking about one thing. You can only talk about one thing and highlight it at once. So even mentions here, okay, the fact that markets exist or that I tell you they exist doesn't mean you're being told to participate in them. Malls sell lots of things. You're not supposed to buy them all. So he's referring here to Pepe and Aave and the other coins that are going wild on PulseChain, slapping around up and down. There were rumors of like some admin keys being printed. It's basically a whole lot of mess. Not for us. It's a mess in terms of you're trying to trade the price action and get dumped on or pumped. But it all comes down to the fact that it's part of the marketing ploy because you're trying to increase the bubble. You're trying to expand the bubble of who's participating in the network, and you have to grab people who are in other communities. They're in other coins. They're in Bitcoin. They're in Ethereum. They're in Aave. They're in Uni. They're in other decentralized stuff. Chainlink, Shib, Pepe. There are other communities here out there. Now, I even have the time and sales here that shows you of when the dump happened for eHEX. So as soon as he tweeted this poopy head, bang, 22.2 million HEX sold, collected $154,000. And because I love and appreciate you for liking, subscribing, pressing the bell button and all, I have used a calculator. Maybe you've heard of this tool, which you can't see right now, but basically I calculated this person's average price was 0.0069. We can actually mark it here, 0.0069. So that person who sold, their average price was here because of the slippage and everything. Now, if you notice this already from the average price is the kind of funny part to see these people do, friends. they're already offside 10%. So if they were to buy back their position, they have already lost 15 to 16 grand. They've actually lost more because then they're going to slip themselves a bit upwards. It's funny how this works. This is part of the plan, friends. So if you'd like to see, because you're a baby doll, this is a 5-minute chart. Of course, you get heart attacks on this. If you just want to see the actual price action, it poked right below its low as well, right? That's what it did here. But I can show you other times. If I put it on a 12-hour, if you allow me, there are other times in HEX's history. What it likes to do, this is the schizophrenic mental health issue type of community members that we just have here. A lot of the times when it comes down, you do have a lot of these low pokes, just absolute huge wicks. You can see these everywhere, friends. You can see this. There's so many places here. It does all these big pokes downwards. I can even show you later on. You just always have these weekends. I'm telling you now, there's a lot of people here with mental health issues. I can tell you. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people have PTSD or they need some sort of prescription because there's just something going on in the upstairs department, if you know what I mean, with a lot of these people, because other markets, they don't have wicks like this as much. But as well, other markets have perpetual swaps, they have deeper liquidity, so you don't get wicks like this. That's why it's really cool to see it play in action. So if you are new to markets, you will see this as painful because you'll think, oh, look at the slippage, it's disgusting. But because I have been in markets for a long time, I can tell you that this is beautiful. When you see a big wick like this, it means the cost to exit is big. Okay, the door is always tiny. So whenever someone wants to exit, it's a very, very small door. Instead of giving them a big door, you give them a tiny door every single time, and you just let them hurt themselves. And especially on the way up, they're going to feel it. But of course, we want to know, when's it coming? When's it coming? We don't know. We'll never know. This can go straight to zero. It can go straight to zero. It can go to zero and fail. So you got to understand that. We always wear our big boy pants and our big girl skirts on here. That's how we do it. That's how we roll. And the chart I have here to show you, friends, is eHEX to pHEX. Of course, right, we had some huge capitulations down here. Like someone who absolutely destroyed themselves doing it. And a lot of people have been wondering what's going on here. Well, if you are sitting in the yield farm, I'm just going to bring it up right here. So not the V1 yield farm. V1 earns you INC, I-N-C. You have to click on V2, which is up the top. You click on V2. And then you go to the liquidity section. This is what I've done. And then you go here and you add eHEX and pHEX together. You provide liquidity. You can go to the info page and you can just watch it. And I would actually, if you're going to participate, I would recommend not to watch it because you are going to see your coins fluctuate in quantity up and down and you're going to feel like you're losing. But as I've mentioned time and time again, this is a very naughty 12-hour chart. This is still very, very naughty if you ask me, right? I'll put it on a weekly chart. This is what I want to see. I don't care about like anything. I'm telling you right now, friends, anything in like 2024, right? So this is the 2024 line. I don't care. Anything to the left here, like literally zero care whatsoever. You can do what you want. We'll sit here earning yield. Who cares? You'll be able to participate if you do this. Of course, it's very risky. Like if you don't want to play this game, that's completely fine. HEX has native staking. Stake it on Ethereum. You can use the app.icosa.pro. I've made a video about it, app.icosa.pro. And you can go to the HEX section and you can stake it, participate, and just grab the yield and just chill out because everybody's losing their minds, but it's okay. And now what I want to show you, friends, is the combined HEX price. So if you add them up, I have the code up here. If you are watching on TradingView, you're going to have to type in this code, HEX USDC plus HEX, and you got to find this one, do it, and then times HEX USDC, this code here, right to the left of the dot. You type that in, and then you'll have that chart. You should be able to save it. And as you can see on the right-hand side, it's still about 1.85 cents. We tried to poke to the low. So this total, the all-time high for this is like 51, 55 cents. But because they're now two separate coins, a lot of people will start to chart them separately because there's going to be enough time. But I still like to see where it is combined, and it is still hovering around where it was on the double low section. Of course, it actually poked very below. It hit 1.5 cents. So yes, it went and made multi-year lows in this. So yeah, there are a lot of weekend capitulators. But what I just showed you was Richard's tweet, and I already know a lot of people are failing the test. So a lot of people are just, unfortunately, they're just not going to make it. So when he tweets about one thing, I've noticed people will put too much of the microscope on there and they'll say, oh, okay, he likes one thing, therefore he thinks something else is trash, right? This is absolutely not the way to think about it. Just because I like chicken tonight doesn't mean I hate steak. That's how you have to believe in your mind that this is going, all right? If I have strawberry ice cream, which is what you are today, that doesn't mean I don't like chocolate. I'm having chocolate next Tuesday, baby. That's how we roll. So, unfortunately, we're at the mercy of the markets. I believe it's a full moon as well. So, when you have all these coming together, you're not dealing with people who are taking a long-term rational view. What instead you are getting people who cannot see beyond tomorrow. And yes, they are capitulating. They're like, I can't take it. eHEX is not bouncing. That's fine. It's fine. I've seen this time and time again. Now, if this is too much for you, if you still believe you're a baby or baby cake, you got a straight posture, you wear fluffy slippers, if it's too much for you, there's too much pain, you are free. You can click the sell and leave. Okay. No one said this was going to be easy, especially not me. If you want asymmetric upside, this is the pain you got to deal with. I have made videos for you friends as well, talking about what Richard's been doing with the pumping of the different coins, okay? I've been showing you the different coins. We have wrapped Bitcoin. We have him talking about the new free coins. Even the chart here you see is Link. So we have this going on right now. But, okay, I'm going to show you the Link chart. So Link chart going volatile, Pepe volatile, SHIB volatile. And he's mentioned he's told everyone, just because these exist does not mean it's for you to participate. So he's telling your friends, look, just so you know, HEX community, okay, HEX and PulseChain community, HEX, PulseChain community has about 200,000 people, just guessing, right? About 200,000 people. This is nowhere near compared to what is out there. So Ethereum alone has about 12 million unique people. Now it has like 100 million wallets, but I believe an estimate, and this was like 2 years ago, by the way, it's probably higher than that. 12 million unique people just in Ethereum alone. So think about this. If he can get the attention of just 15% of Ethereum people, he has completely erased the HEX and PulseChain people. Think about that. That is the character, the makeup of the new type of investors that are going to be participating in PulseChain itself, coming and playing around in the playfield. So this is super important to understand this. And you might say, I know a lot of people, friends, this reminds me exactly about Kanye West. Kanye West, after he made Graduation, he made his cool hip-hop albums, and then he started changing, right? Kanye West, he made 808s and Heartbreaks. He started changing a bit. And then he started forgot that weird album he made. He started changing and people were like, no, I want the old one. The new music is too different. And he would always make jokes like, yeah, people want the old yay. So this is exactly what's happening with Richard. But you got to understand that these people, they are always dreaming about the world, friends. And yes, you're going to ask for a world emoji and you will get the world emoji. These people, they have a huge ego. They think so large of themselves. And by the way, I'm not saying this in a negative light. I'm just saying it's true. They think so large of themselves. They really want to touch the world. And you and I, we are just sitting here. We are small. We're little peanuts rolling around in here doing nothing else, right? Little peanuts. And they want to reach wider continents, different languages, different communities. They really want to do huge, larger than life stuff. And yes, it does mean they are going to be leaving the traditional stuff you saw at the beginning. And guess what? This happens to everything in life, friends. I mean, have you ever heard of a little coin called Bitcoin? Yes, it's happened in Bitcoin too, friends. So even Bitcoin at the very, very beginning, you go to Bitcoin at the beginning, remember Bitcoin at the very, very beginning, you had Satoshi, grassroots. Everyone was just like their backs against the wall. Everybody had to keep Bitcoin secret. I'm not sure if you know this, friends. You know Andreas Antonopoulos and some other, the very, very early Bitcoin OGs, they used to have secret passcodes to enter meetups. I'm not making this up. Secret passcodes, because they were so paranoid of the government figuring out what they were doing. That's how underground and secret Bitcoin was at the beginning. They were going to these weird underground basements with couches and probably room temperature water and other weird phenomena in there. They had to use code words because they were like, oh my God, what if the CIA, FBI catches us? We are this is the most dangerous thing in the world. Think about that type of environment and then look at what we had in the previous bull market. We had Elon Musk, Dogecoin, you had Michael Saylor, you had Max Kaiser going like, yeah, F Elon, Bitcoin. Think about this. And El Salvador talking about Bitcoin being like the blue chip, it's pragmatic, right? Compare those two differences. One was the cypherpunks. And now it's like, yeah, Bitcoin, the cybernetic hornet's nest, laser eyes, baby. Do you see that stark difference, that huge difference? So for these things to mature and grow, they have to encapsulate wider and wider audiences. This is why what you're witnessing with HEX and seeing all these, this is why you're not going to get this, I want the old Richard to come and talk to us for 3 hours. I think what you're going to see is him give more and more attention over time to these other communities. And it makes sense because me and you, we're already in. He doesn't need to talk to us. We're already in, friends. All right. So when he does these code words, he wants to route everything back to HEX, PulseChain. All right. Now, when we're even looking at something like eHEX, you still have the chance you have to decide for yourself. Okay. You got a chance. Do you want to buy and take on this painful risk, or do you want to sit in something that you think is more stable? A lot of people consider PulseChain, PLS more stable, but let me tell you, I am not betting on any of these with super, super hard extra weight. I want absolutely all of them. I am tilted more towards HEX on Ethereum. Yes, I don't care how low this goes. I'll just keep buying. Send it to zero. I don't really care. And just my speculation, even though Richard is catering to wider and wider audiences, I still believe a lot of people are failing the test. So they're seeing him do all this stuff and they're forgetting his original teachings and principles, but not really forgetting. They're just chasing shiny new objects. And this rinsing of the weak hands, it was an inevitability. It was going to happen no matter what. It doesn't really matter. At this point, people literally just clicking sell because he's talking about something else. That's how you know we are getting to the like super irrational fee selling, because people he tweeted about HEX and PLS. And someone interpreted this as bearish on eHEX. So this is what actually happens at the very, very end of huge capitulation sales. For example, you saw this at the end in November and December of 2022 last year with Bitcoin. People were selling just to get out. People were literally just selling because they're like, I just want to get out. There's just too much pain. I just hate the industry. I'm just depressed. When you're starting to see this, you go, okay, you guys are starting to get super silly now. So my strategy will still stand still. It doesn't matter. You want to throw an extra red candle here and there. I don't really care. I'm already told you many, many times. I'm playing for December 2025, and I'm not even going to blink at anything before 2024. Like I literally do not care. I've seen markets go unimaginably low and then recover by the end of years. It just, you can't predict it, man. You can't predict it. So Pulse still super cheap. This is a weekly chart. I strongly recommend changing all your charts to weekly, friends. This is a whole new lifestyle for you. Trust me, you're going to have less heart attacks. His number one goal is to get everybody into the shopping mall, and then we can start getting all the pumps to happen. And I want you to think about this. Even though, yes, Pulse is cheap. This is the weekly chart for PulseX, also cheap. We also have pHEX, also cheap. This is the eHEX pHEX ratio. I believe more people are going to keep hurting themselves, playing around, selling this low, buying this top. And look, I just believe this is just me. If I was a duck, this is just me. Okay, if I was a duck and I had a beak and I swam in a pond, what I would do, and by the way, I already got this right with these other coins, all right? So what I'm about to tell you, it already happened. I'm just continuing the thesis. If I was a duck, what I will do is I would morph, shift, whatever you want to call it, move this ratio up higher later on when no one's thinking about it, no one's looking, to really shock everybody. Why? Why would I do that? Well, in his statement, he even told you, would you rather own a casino or play in the casino? Well, he wants people in the casino. He wants people in PulseX. This is just what I'll do. Okay, so I don't know, right? I'm not a duck. But if I was a duck and I was a billionaire, a rumored billionaire, and I had control of a lot of firepower, this is what I will do personally. Any other ratio, right? I would swoop the ratio high later on, shock everybody. Why would you do that? The answer is because the more you can establish ranges in markets, so I'll show you, the more you can establish a range, the more you train people into the mindset of cheap, expensive. right? And now you get everybody to start participating in the casino. So even if he's really against it, even if you're really against it, it's probably not for me and you, it's for other people. Okay, oh, you want to come trade? Well, come and trade these ratios so you don't have to come punt on all these other coins. So naturally, just think about this. This is like the second level, the second step. So of course, you've got to get the absolute degens. You got to get the degens. This is people buying in for P-Link. This is the pumping and the dumping, and there's other coins as well, P-Link, E-Link, and whatever it is. But then I believe the next step would be people starting to play the ratios. So here is PulseX. There's a PulseX and Pulse ratio, for example. And you can see, I remember this is even sinking even harder. A lot of people at the top, see this top red zone up here? A lot of people became PulseX maxis. They believed, oh, it's going to, people were saying it's going to hit parity. Up here was 0.5 to 1. So it's about 2 PulseX is 1 pulse. So look at this ratio, it hit almost 0.50. Now it's all the way down to 0.31. Remember, I made also a video dedicated to you, friends. This is like a couple of videos ago. I told you, also, if I was a duck, just me, I don't know if it's happening, just me speculating. If I was a duck and I swam in a little pond and I had a lot of firepower, I would make this PulseX pulse ratio, I would make it do a big sine range. A big sine, SIN sign from mathematics at school. Big sine range, big oscillator, because that would be training everyone naturally, again, just like the eHEX, pHEX, to get everybody to think about cheap and expensive without exiting the system. So like, oh, PulseX is cheap relative to Pulse. This is another way to think, friends. This is participating in the casino. This brings volume up. This brings all the buy and burn up. This is like a natural... This is like the economy boosting up a level. This is like leverage for everybody. Isn't this fantastic if this actually works out? So what do you actually do? Okay, if you are nervous, that's cool. I can't do anything about it. Friends, we don't know the future. We don't know what comes tomorrow. This could be the bottom. It can keep going lower. Don't worry about anybody else. Be careful of other people calling a victory or defeat on anything. Like we're not even in, it's not 2024 yet. And we already know, worst case, we're waiting to December 2025. So these are all weekly candles. Their prints are super, super slow. We're still waiting for Bitcoin and Ethereum to price higher. Nothing set in stone. But if you have any spare dry powder, this is what I would be doing. I would be continuing to add to my bags and my position as much as I can right now. And if you're absolutely just yield farming, well, I mean, you can pick any of them. Pick any of them, pick all 4 of them, pick whatever you want, but at least you get to participate while everyone else is crying, because I tell you right now, you're going to be very shocked when you see how much people are going to love buying the tops of the next macro pump. Tell mom and dad we're still going to make it and our cherry's still squeaky. Like, subscribe, press the bell button and all. I'm going to catch you in the next one.